Okay, so a long time ago, on the heels of doing New York One, which is still in business down the street here and still successful and was based on this whole VJ thing that nobody had done, I got a call from a group in Britain that wanted to do the same thing in London. It was going to be a channel called Channel One. And Channel One was going to be a 24-hour news channel for London, just like New York One is a 24-hour news channel for New York. It's amazing that nobody ever built one before, and London, 12 million people, a rich city, you'd think they could afford it. So we all went to London. It was done by Associated Newspapers, which puts out a lot of tabloids and makes a lot of money, and a guy named Sir David English, who was the genius, I think, of the Daily Mail, decided he wanted to get behind it. So I came in, and of course, what makes these things work was the whole notion, in my opinion, was the whole notion of the VJ thing. That is, the reporter, carries their own camera and shoots their own camera. And of course, today, it's not such a big deal. But in 1993, I guess, when we did it, it was considered a very radical idea and went to work and all that kind of stuff. And so luckily, because it was a newspaper, they let us at least take a shot. We got about 40 people trained from New York One. They came to the training session. We gave them little cameras. We dealt with these little high-8 cameras at that time. Same thing we'd done at New York One. And of course, they went out and they were all journalists, and they started making these great stories because they all reported by themselves. They didn't have to worry about a crew. They didn't have any crap they had to carry around with them. They were light and small and lightweight. And so the thing actually took off, and we did this training session for about a month, and the stuff was quite good, and it was all great. And then these guys from Sky came in. They were going to manage the thing. And of course, they didn't go through the training, and they didn't have the brainwashing. As soon as they saw the small cameras, they said, "This is not acceptable." And I said, "Why isn't it? You don't understand. The small camera is the thing that makes it work." They understood the economics of the VJ thing. They understood the economics of getting rid of the sound man, the cameraman, the producer, the editor, and just having one person, but they couldn't abide by the small cameras. And so they insisted that everybody carry beta cam, which called beta. They called it beta, but it's the same thing, these giant cameras on their shoulders, except they only wanted one person to do it. So these poor schmucks for Channel One, they had to drag around these giant cameras and lights and tripods and batteries and cables and microphones and all the crap that completely unnecessary. And of course, it destroyed the whole notion of what made the station work. What made the station work was, cool pieces done by one person with a little Canon camera. And so, I understood they were going to kill the project before it got started. And so I did this side-by-side comparison on a monitor. And I put up the stuff that was shot with the high-8 cameras. And everything was taped in those days. And the one that was shot with the beta. And I said, "Can you tell the difference?" Well, of course, they couldn't really. I mean, if you put it on a scope, you could tell the difference. But just looking at it, nobody could really tell the difference. And so I said, you see that it doesn't make any difference. Leave them with the little cameras. And the guy who was running it, he went on to run Sky. He said it's not the quality of the image that counts. I said, "What is it?" He said, "I will not have my people laughed at in the street." It was his ego that was on the line here, because they were going to go, "Oh, you moron, you took this job with this make-believe television station, you're all using toy cameras." And so they made all these poor bastards drag around these giant beta cams, and they all had back problems. But besides that, the pieces all sucked, because the time they got there, they're so tired, they put the thing on a tripod, they did an interview, they stand up, they went home, it sucked. And of course, the thing went out of business, which didn't do me any good or do them any good. And so, there's this natural anxiety about, first, new technology, and then the second, when it comes to camera gear, for some reason, there's this natural innate anxiety about little things are not real. I mean, when it comes to phones, we like little phones. I'm doing this on a phone now, and of course, we don't say, well, that's not a real phone. A real phone is a big thing that's in a booth and you put coins in. That's just a fake phone. So when it comes to phones or laptops or computers and stuff like that, we embrace little, powerful little things. But when it comes to cameras, for some reason, in the professional world, there's still enormous, and I still walk down the street in Manhattan, I see these stupid crews walking around with all this camera gear and dragging all this crap with them, and it's just crazy, and it's completely unnecessary. And what makes me think about this is that, today, or yesterday, Steven Soderbergh said that he's going to only shoot movies from now on using his iPhone 10, because the results are so good that there's no reason. He used to shoot with red. I mean, the guy's always been on the cutting edge. In 2000, he was one of the first people to shoot all digital, when everybody was saying digital is not real, you have to have film. And now his most recent film, or actually the most recent, I wrote it down to make sure, Unsane, which I haven't seen, but it stars Claire Foy, who's in The Crown, which I watch all the time on PBS. So it's a real motion picture. It's not like some student film done on a phone to just show that it can be done. Anyhow, he shot the whole thing with his iPhone 10, and then he said, when I went in the theater and I saw it on this 40-foot high screen, I knew right away that this was the future. So he said, from now on, I'm doing all my movies on iPhone, which I think is great because we do all our video on iPhone. And in fact, all video should be on iPhone. All news should be on iPhone. Brett, who works with us, sent me some article from some guy from some television technical trade thing, which talked about that, the coming thing is a ridiculous coming thing. The thing is here, the industry is always about 10 to 15 years behind of where the technology is, which is why things like Facebook and Apple and Google are worth a fortune, and nobody wants to really invest in traditional television. Local news is dying for a reason, because they are terrified of new technology and new change, and there is no reason to be terrified of new technology. This Brooklyn TV project that we're doing, and our next meetup is on Saturday, it's all iPhone all the time. Not only they shoot on the iPhone, they cut on the iPhone, we'll live stream from the iPhone, it's all iPhone all the time. And to me, you sell your stock in Canon and Sony and all that other stuff, there's no reason to have those things anymore. So if good enough for Steven Soderbergh to do all his feature films on iPhone, good enough for everybody else to do their video, most of which just goes online anyway, on iPhones or smartphones if you have a Galaxy. So that's it from me. If you found this interesting, be sure to sign up for thevj.com and share and like. I'll see you later. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you want to learn more and see more, come and see us at thevj.com. Is that right?